Hello everyone, I am Ishada from ML department. What is closure? A closure is created when a function is defined inside the other function and has access to the variables from the outer function scope, even after the function has been finished executing. A closure is a powerful and widely used programming because they allow function to remember the content or the state which they have been created. Here is the code, a closure. Here the outer function is create counter is my outer function defined, and inside the create count function I have created a variable count and which is initialized to 0. Inside this variable of outer scope of functions defined inside the create counter. Inside the create we another function is defined. The inner function is written when create counter is called. The inner function has a count variable because it was defined inside the create counter. The JavaScript allows the inner function remember the variable from the outer scope. Closure is created when the create function is called and the inner function is returned. The return function remembers the variable from its outer scope. This return function maintains the access of the count even though the create counter has finished its executing. When the create function is called, the count variable is created and initialized to 0, and the inner function return and assign the variable to the counter. The count variable is incremented. The count variable is incremented since the inner function remembers the count variable, it updates the count value. The count value is persistent because the inner function retains access to the closure. It contains a flexible scope. A function in the JavaScript have access to the variables in the parent scope when the function defined inside other function. It automatically closes over the variables in order in the outer functional scope. Memory persistence. Every after the create counter has finished the execution, the inner function still has access to the count variable because it was captured when the function was created. Let's take an real example. When we go to the class, defines it's a function. You bring a backup with your books, a variable in the outer scope. Even after the class is over, the outer variable function finishes executing, you still have a backup with you and you can still access the books inside means variable. Every time you can use your backup, you can modify and access the content. The execution of this was the output of the code. Now, what is promises in JavaScript? A promises is a special JavaScript object that represents the initial completion of an asynchronous operation and it is resulting in value. Promises allow the developer to write cleaner, more organized the code for asynchronous tasks such as fetching data from server or performing the time-based operations. The key components of the promises: state of promises. The initial state, the operation has not been completed yet. Resolve, the operation completed successfully. Rejected, the operation failed and rejected method was called. Method of handling the promises. Then. When a promise is resolved, it means success. dot catch executes when the promise is rejected. Let's look into the code. Fetch data function fetch function returns the promise. The promise is the constructor function that callbacks with the two arguments resolve and reject. Stimulus asynchronous operation inside the promises callback. A set time function stimulates an asynchronous operations. After 2 seconds, if success, it returns true. It calls the resolve method when the success misses. If false, it calls a reject method and it prints error fluctuating the data. Returning the promises. When the fetch data is invoked, the return promises for the calling code. Handling the promises dot then and dot fetch method is used. Let's run the code. The data fetched successfully has been executed. Now what a callback? A callback is a function that passed as an argument to other function and is executed after a specific task or operation completes. The callbacks are commonly used in asynchronous programming to ensure the tasks are performed in a correct order. Now let us look into the code. Fetch data accepts one argument and callbacks the function. Here the callback function is a function. Callback is the function that called when after the data is fetching is stimulated. Inside the fetch data, a set timeout stimulates an asynchronous delay of 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, the console prints the data is fetched and the callback function is executed. After displaying of data function, the data logs the message to the console. This function is callback and that means passes to the fetch data. Calling the fetch data with the display data, the fetch data is called and display data function is passed and the callback has passed as the callback. Fetch data starts the task stimulated delay. After the delay, it executes the display data function callback. The uses of callback, it ensures the corrected code and avoid the blocking. See, the data is fetched and the display of the data is printed. A to-do list is a simple tool used to keep a track of tasks that need to be completed and help us individuals to organize and prioritize their work, ensuring nothing is important. In the to-do list, we prioritize a task, we update the tasks, the category-wise deadlines and organizations, etc. We can use the to-do list in examples submitting of assignment, paying of rent, service of vehicles, like that. So I have written a code regarding the to-do list. Let me explain in detail about it. Here, a function to-do list is defined with the help which help us to manage the to-do list. All is initialized as an empty array to store the task. Add method purpose adds a new task to the do items to all the array. Add a to-do item object containing the item due date completed. An operation alt or push to-do items adds the to-do items objects to all array. Mark as complete method marks to-do list as completed based on its indexes. An index of the to-do items. The operation all.index.complete equal to update complete the property of the to-do items of a given index. Overdue method. Filter out the task that is present in the past, not completed. Constant today, formatted date, new date. Gets today's date updated. All.filter to date less than today and operation. It filters the task whether the due date is earlier than today or completed is false. Due today method filters the tasks that are today. The operations gets today's date and it filters the task due date equal to today's date. Constant due later method filters the tasks that are due after the date, and here it gets today's date and filters the task with the due date after the today's date. Due.display today display list formats the list of to-do item and displays maps over every task. If the task is completed, it shows X. If the task is not completed, it shows square brackets. If the due date is today, it shows the task without the date, otherwise it appends the due date to the task. Join combines the task into a single string of each one of the new line. The formatted date function purpose returns the formatted date into a format year, month and date wise. Operations, it formats the date in date format. Object initialization. The to-do list functions invoke and assign to the to-dos object. Data calculation in the task edition. Date today is set the current date. Yesterday is computed as a previous day. Tomorrow is computed as the 2 days from today, and the tasks are added to the to-do list using the to-do add title, due date and completed. Displaying of task overdue fetches the overdue taskers using the to-dos.overdue and displays them with to displays list. Due today fetches the tasks due to the todays using the today and display them. Due later fetches the task due later using todo.today and display them. Due later fetches the task due to the later using todos due later and displays them. The output is an explanation of the overdue. Let's see the output. See, this is the output of the overdue is nothing. The day given today, parent, the overdue shows the tasks that have been due date earlier than today and not completed. Due today shows the task due today, and due later shows the task need to be done in the future. And this is my form of to-do list.js. Thank you.